You guys want to do the QR? Yeah. Wan Bing, can you see the screen?
Yeah, I can see. I can see. Okay.
Wan Bing, you can see the screen, right? You can see my screen just now, right?
Yeah.
You can see my cost plan, Wan Bing. I don't know what. I'm very confused myself. You can see my the cost. You can see this screen. Can you? This one, the cost plan.
No.
No, you can't. Oh wait, now what happened? No. Stop sharing. Let's see. Can you see this now? The cost plan?
Yeah, I can see.
What do you see from your screen? Do you see this civil engineering project management cost plan? Can
Can.
You can Okay, good. All right. Okay. Right, let's get started. One thing, if there's anything that you can't see, if you need to communicate with us, you can put it in the group, in the message, or try to put it in the WebEx message, the chat box, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time we're doing like this. Supposed to be when everybody is back physical, we are back physical. I don't have to worry about this, but he's in China, so there's nothing we can do about that. And now we have to share the screen that way. But the good thing is I'll also be recording the lecture. So later on, I'll post it up on eLib as well. So if let's say there's any issue with the lecture, you don't understand, then we will proceed to, you still can go back to the recording as well. But next week onward, we'll be all at our home listening to online classes. No need to come to uni anymore. Yeah. Okay. We finally met. We finally met. So you've seen Wan Bing on the screen. Who is who? I mean, like, I can't recognize some of you. Zai, which Zai? You Zai. Okay. Dayang Africa. New student, huh? Wani. Shafawani. So Nazaitu is the one that go home, is it? For a while? Okay. What about the at the back there? Isabel? Who's Isabel? And Haiza, I know. I see your faces before. Yeah. Sorry? Asia. We got Asia in our classroom? Grace? Where is Grace? Oh, Grace. This is Grace. Mashat. So we don't have that many Mister in our class, so I think that one is quite easy. The girls are a bit hard to recognize. I know. Okay. Sue. Yeah, Sue. But how can you look different? And Natasha. Okay. So I think we are all here. How does it feel to be back online? Online. Physical? A bit weird, but then I think the feeling is very different. I'm sure you will enjoy the class more because sometimes when we go online, we're just like looking at the screen, with no faces. Here we can see your response. If there's any problem, we can talk about it. So it's actually quite interesting that way, lah. And there would never be any fully physical anymore from now on, I believe, because the universities are also moving towards this sort of hybrid method for many. If you wait for another few months also, there would never be any more physical classes. Yeah, so might as well just join right away. Yeah, the fully online is not possible also because MQA has a requirement of minimum 40/60. Okay, minimum meaning that 40% we have to do it physical and 60% maximum we do online. So there will be no more 100% online. You don't have to wait for another online time. Okay, there will be never any full online. If there's a full online, we need to really drastically change our system and everything back to like a new paperwork, a new course, a new program completely. So to stick to our current program, which is already being certified by MQA, the maximum that we can go is 60/40. Okay. So besides this, after this, we will wait for TR LU5, which is week 5, to come back again online somewhere in March. Yeah. For the meantime, when we meet, I hope that we can sort out as many issues as we can. Okay. Any one of you are like, beside Wani is from Pahang, right? Yeah. So you're flying in every week now. You fly in and then after that you
stay here.
Oh, you just stay here, so you're not working anymore.
I'm waiting for my car to come.
Oh.
So I want to find job.
Part-time job somewhere here lah. Oh, okay. So
by next week maybe my car.
Oh, so you are not like so you'll be based in Kuching. Huh? You based in Kuching lah. You'll be based here in Sarawak for the period of your study, 1 year. That's nice. Okay. So were you working previously?
Oh no.
Also, you just graduate from uni and then you're not our ex-alumni kan?
No, I'm from UMP.
UMP, yeah, okay. The rest, a lot of them are our alumni. Okay, and before I go into this project management, I want to sort out. Grace, you're not taking RP, right? Masan, are you taking? Who is your supervisor? Lupa. Inawati, have you confirmed with her? Have you started? Okay, and Ainun, are you taking also? Because I've been asking like the two of you, are you taking RP1 or not? Taking, and who is your supervisor? Mr. Wrong. Okay, so you've confirmed with him already. You cannot discuss on topic because this is very serious problem. What happened is we only have 12 weeks. I'm telling you this. I'm sure some of you who has already gone through RP1, you know the feeling of how tight everything is, how urgent everything is, and this goes to Wan Bing as well. You cannot be talking about your topic at the moment. You should be writing on your literature review already. Start right away. You cannot still ding dong, and then 2 weeks later I ask you, oh, I just got a topic. Because why? We only have 12 weeks. And on the 4th, we finish our class on the 30th of April. On the 3rd or 4th of May, we're going to have oral presentation. And then after that, on the following Tuesday, after your exam, you're going to hand in your RP1 report. You can't come and talk to me, Dr. Ting, you can see me, I started late and I don't have any, I need extra time. Can you give me another week or 2 weeks? I cannot, because the university will generate the result a week after the exam. Whether you like it or not, they will generate. So that means if you have no marks there, if you don't hand in a report, there's no marks there, we have to F. It will be an F day. If it's F day, it's still okay. You repeat, no problem. Tapi if your CGPA drop below 3, 2 consecutive semester you cannot pick up, you'll be automatically gagal berhenti. This is very serious consequences. That's why we cannot, after your exam, you see very fast that weekend, we will tell you that whether you need resitting or not. Kalau you don't need resitting, that means you pass everything. But if you suddenly need resitting, we have to do it on the Saturday, Sunday, and then that's it. On a Monday or Tuesday, the result will be generated already. The system will be closed. Even if you have a better marks, I cannot key in anymore. No lecturer, no coordinator, even the dean cannot panggil CGS to buka system cannot open the system. That's the problem. So that's why for RP, you cannot ding dong one. You cannot say that slowly search for the literature review and then week 8 masih sini not so sure yet, cannot on now. You just do it by week 8. By 8, you for RP1 people, week 8, I say you have to finish your literature review already. And then week 10, week 11 is your introduction, and then your formatting, and then your steady hand-in already. Okay, so next week I need to hear you start your literature review. Yeah, I know. Okay, who's Hazia? You're with Ron also, right? So you're on RP3 already, isn't it? Yeah, so RP3, you have to start writing already, your discussion, everything. People in RP2, don't tell me that I'm not sure my methodology yet. I hentam palak, really. Methodology has to be fully confirmed by now. Even though we just enter the semester, if your methodology by now is still not fixed, you're still thinking like what I should do, now is the week, next week, if you're going to do lab or whatever, you should be arranging to go to the lab already. You're not going to be sitting there, what is my methodology like? I'm not so sure yet. Can I discuss with my supervisor again? Blah, blah, blah. And then up until week 5, you belum masuk lab lagi. Or haven't start modeling yet. That is very, very bad or very unhealthy. By now, you should be confirming this is my methodology. If you need to do data collection, now is the one that you set out your questionnaire or whatever. You must already start it. Otherwise, forget it. Okay, forget it. I tell you, the time is that short. Okay, so this is something that I need to warn everybody. When we enter into the trimester system, there is no way, there's no time for RP. You guys are still lucky because you guys do chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over 1 semester each. The other MSEEF, they had to do over 2 semesters. So even worse, they had to finish their methodology by Sem 1. So you guys still have time, like after Sem 1, you finish your literature review, you still can have like the holiday time, you still can do your methodology. Okay, but not with the other group. Okay, so I hope that you all, if you are not comfortable with your RP, like if you still are thinking blah blah like that, you better go and drop it. I tell you, you better go and drop it. Pay $200 and pergi drop dollar. Sampai next time you ambil lagi. Lebih bagus. Otherwise, if you don't drop it, the date is closed. What happens is we cannot. The result will be generated whether you like it or not. It's an F, it's an F. If it's D, it's a D. We cannot say that because you didn't drop, I forgot to drop. Some students say, when I drop, the masa already lepas, cannot drop already. You cannot. I think next week, 17 will be the last day to drop. Okay? You have to pay $200. Even to drop, you have to pay $200 already. So by next week, if you still haven't settled with your RP supervisor and start on your literature review, you better go and job. Okay, that is my advice to you. Otherwise, the result will be out later. All right. So same goes with you, Wan Bing, huh? I can't see him. I'm assuming that he can hear me. Okay. Yeah, you have to talk to Dr. Ahmad already, huh? You have to start your literature review, huh? Okay, and this is Civil Engineering Project Management, KN6083. And 6083 is one topic that some people will find it easy, some people will not, okay? There are people who fail this subject, okay? I'm not saying that, you know, everybody, I can't guarantee you will pass because there's a lot of reading to do. And those of you who has been to my classes previously in undergraduate studies, I think these are the things that you've heard from me before, maybe just a little bit more detail now. And we are used to one another, so there shouldn't be too much of an issue here, okay? For those of you who are new to the university, it's okay. Don't let me scare you, okay? We are still very open for communication. University is open. You are in Kuching. Come and see me if you have any problem, okay, in the office, or call me or whatever, okay? And okay, so basically for this particular project, because out of all the civil engineering topic that we have, you see, we have a lot of technical topic such as soft soil, soil mechanics, water, hydrology, and you know, structure, concrete. But this is the only one that actually link management, like how to manage a project that you are going to be holding. I mean, like that you be managed, that you are embarking onto lah. So for the management of the project, some of you maybe you're very fresh graduate, you've never managed a project before. Some of you are okay because you've worked before. Whatever I say, it makes sense to you. Okay. Some of you are working still at the moment, so you're not unfamiliar with this thing. Okay. And what we're going to do is with these project management classes, first week today, I will just go through the foundation stuff, you know, just very, very fundamental stuff. And then I will also start you off on scope management. For every project, we need to understand, we need to create the scope of work. So whether you are in the planning as a planning authority, whether you're an engineer involved in design, we need to know the scope of work first. If you don't know the scope of work, what are you going to manage? What time, what schedule? Apa itu semua? You don't know. You don't need to know because you don't know what is the scope of work. So how do you know the scope of work? How do you come up with the scope of work? Some of you will need to come up with the scope of work. You know, some of you working for maybe JKR, you know, or working with a different authority, you need to come up with the scope of work for your designer to design. Your designer need to sometimes receive the project brief, yeah, and then they will know what to design. Drainage, are we designing the road? Are we designing the water distribution systems? Are we designing 60 houses? Are we designing a shopping mall? So you need to know what is the composition of your project. And that is very important. That is a very big start of any project management. So from scope management, what we will do is we will actually teach you in a way, not to say teach, I mean, I'll share about how from nothing, you know, you need to work on coming out with the scope. Okay. Some of you may not need to go through that process because maybe you're working as a contractor. When you are already got the project, the scope of work is there already in the drawings very clearly already, so not much of an issue. Yeah. But many of us need to know how to even create that scope of work, how to know which option is the best for your project. Why do you want to build 2-lane, you know, freeway? Why do you want to build 7 lanes, 8 lanes? You know, like there must be a reason behind it. You know, why do you want to build a wharf in this area? Why do you want to build a submarine pipe in this location? Yeah, so there is a reason behind all our projects. All civil engineering projects are talking about millions of dollars. So there must be a good solid reason why we are putting in the money, putting in the effort, putting in the energy, putting in the professional for this particular work. Okay, so my job here is to groom you in a sense for you to appreciate the importance of coming up with a scope of work. And come out not only that I sit there and I dream one night, tonight I dream, I can see I want to build the tallest building in Malaysia, and then you muscle and then say, I have money, I go and throw in and I build. No such thing. There must be a good study behind it before you reach that stage of deciding this is what we need to do and what we want to do and the commitment that we're going to be making. Whether you're from government or whether you're from a private sector. Private sector, you got money, why don't you put it in the bank? Why must you go and throw it in project? Why must you go and buy land and develop? A lot of stress one. Why? For what? Yeah, making more money is one thing. But there's a lot of stress involved, you see, a lot of hardship involved in coming up with a project. There must be a better reason than just making money for you to come up with the scope of work, the project itself. So we must be very careful. If we don't understand what is the reasoning behind scope of work, then it is very difficult for engineers, for us to appreciate that it is very important for us to build accordingly. Yeah, it's very difficult for us to understand. Okay, so we will go through that. We'll go through what is feasibility studies, what is involved in feasibility studies, and we'll also involve we'll talk about scope planning, coming up with a scope definition, and then after that, from the scope definition, you do different type of studies, okay, and then different type of studies such as economic studies for you to understand. Okay, there may be option A, there may be option B, there may be option C. So around week 4, Dr. Lee will brief you on part of engineering economics, and I'm sure some of you actually took her elective classes also, when you were in universities. And I think if you have taken those classes, then this will be a lot easier for you already, because you've gone through it before, you've heard of it before, you know net present value, you know cost-benefit ratio, you know about future value, present value, you know about sensitivity analysis. So we will sort of talk to you about that, just to get you to appreciate that not only the reasoning behind it, whether the option that we have chosen is one of the best for the project. Okay. And then finally, when we come up with the scope itself, it is in a form of what we call a work breakdown structure. Yeah. So some of you heard about this work breakdown structure. So work breakdown structure is a systematic way of lining up your scope of work into very systematic segments. And in the different segments, you've got different layers, and different layers will give the detail of what the project would be involving with. Like let's say under structural work, you have drainage structure, you've got road work. Under road work, there are even more details, that you can, I need to do surveying, I need to do settlement, I need to do bitumen, and then there is a lot of smaller layers within the work breakdown for you to understand your project better. So whether which part you enter as an engineer, it doesn't matter, okay? But we'll cover the whole entire part of scope management. So you could be under construction. You receive the scope of work, and then you need to monitor the scope of work. Then it will be like how to monitor the scope of work, how to make sure that you don't have too much variation. Don't every little thing, VO, and then you have issues later on. Your client will not be happy because you're changing too much of the scope of work. What happened in the first place? You didn't do the design properly. Is that why you keep like VO, variation order? Okay, we don't want that. And then after that, from scope management, Dr. Lee will continue with you on this time management. So with resources first, before you can do your time management, we do resources management. Okay, so from resources management, we want to see how do you spread your resources, how do you arrange your resources, and then from your resources analysis, you can do your time schedule. And she will also be giving you around week 5 a class on Microsoft project. So all of you is either she is going to give you the link to our Microsoft project software that you can install on your computer, or we haven't decided yet lah. Or there may be on the week 5 when we have a physical class, you come in around 2 o'clock, we get our IT people to install the link onto your computer. So I like it that way better because you can have it in your computer, in your laptop. So then when you go back later, you can straight away use the software already. Yeah, it's like this is your right as a student to have our software. Yeah, so to try out using Microsoft Project, she will teach you how to use Microsoft Project to come up with a schedule. Okay. Then after that, from there, I will move back in and talk to you about cost management, how to come up with a budget. There will be assignment on cost management, cost plan. How do you work out a proper budget plan? Okay, and then after that, how do you monitor the budget? Through different techniques. And then how do you also convert that into a BQ, bills of quantity? So those are the things that, as a project manager, we must know how to do. And then quality management, how to come up with cost plan. Okay. Then the following subject will be things like procurement management, and then risk management, and then followed by team management, team conflict communication management. So this will be what we will go through for the whole entire project management class that we will be going through in the next 12 weeks, about 14 LUs, okay? It's all here. The last lecture will be on how to integrate the different management technique together. So to run the project, these are not separate by itself. It has to be together. Yeah, serentak, simultaneously. So integration is very important. And then after that, we will also have the final exam discussion and all that. And this is very important because this time the final exam will be physical, meaning that you have to come in, sit down, no more online. You cannot just copy paste here. No more chat PGT or something like that. No such thing, copy paste here and there. So you have to sit in for our exam on the certain days. We will discuss usually Saturday, Sunday, and then maybe if you want straight away Monday. If let's say Shafawani is not going back anyway, then we can maybe straight away have it on the Tuesday. Yeah, also can give a break. Some people may say, I don't want a break. I just want Monday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday finish off exam, and I go back to my work. Got like that also, up to you all. So the last Saturday, Sunday is a must. Definitely you come back here Saturday, Sunday for exam. But then the Monday or Tuesday is up to you all to choose later. Okay, any questions so far? Is Wan Bing still with us?
Yeah.
Wan Bing, are you okay? You still with us? Give me a thumbs up if you're okay.
Wait.
You can hear me, huh? Okay. All right. With master's courses, these are the things that some of you have already learned in undergraduate studies. Okay. In master's classes, our main aim is more on application. Yeah, I want you to be able to apply to your work, to your project. That's why for time management, we'll get you to bring in a project, maybe with your group members or whatever. Bring in a project and we'll do the project, apply, actually do the schedule. It's no more just theory. Touching on theory would not be like a lot. It will be more like get on with it. You try it, do the budget, do the arrangements of costs, do the machinery arrangements, do the resources arrangements, do the material arrangement, and how to convert that into your cost later. It has to be very hands-on, very physical. We do not want to just talk, like for like 3 hours every time, and then exam you go back and memorize, and then try to pass exam like that. So even you can see that the exam questions are very much of an application. Masters is about application already. It's not about basic fundamental knowledge. Yeah, you all have the basic fundamental knowledge. Whether it's from our university or whether from other university, you all are almost like practicing engineer. Some of you are practicing engineers before you come back here to do your study. So you've seen all this before, you've done all this before. Okay, so I want you to bring in your work problem, and see if you can apply it in this course. Not just learn the theory. Okay. Some of you are very good with passing exam, but the moment you want to apply, you don't know how to apply. That could be an issue, right? And I am actually preparing some notes here today. Okay, let me off this one first. This is the course plan. This is for this morning. Yeah? Okay. Okay, I need you to understand that for civil engineers, we assume that everybody here are civil engineers. Okay, there's no like mechanical guy, or some QS guy or whatever here, huh? So I think it's not difficult for you to understand that the day in day out work of a civil engineers deal with project. We are always in that project context. Yeah? And of course, what is the definition of a project? I think all of you know. Project has a finite timeline. It has aim, it has objective, it is dynamic. It deals a lot with different people in the team. Yeah, and then it has time, cost, quality, objective. Yeah, and then it has what else? It has dynamic. It's very dynamic. Project environment that is never the same. So one project that you embark onto is different from the next project that you will be embarking onto after you finish the one project. And many engineers will have to deal with not more than one project at a time. Many of us, I think some of you working, maybe if the project is very small, then you'll be dealing with 3 or 4 projects at the same time. Your boss will call in and say, "Oh yeah, this is we've got a new project coming out. I put your name down. This is your project. You jaga, then they bye bye already. Then you have to work on it already. Yeah, so some of you are dealing with very big project. So maybe like something like Pan Borneo is so huge that you will, our road project at the moment in Malaysia, in Sarawak, the Pan Borneo project. So some of you will be like part of a team. You've got so many engineers in that one project dealing with different components as well. Yeah. So we are always in that context of a project. And all construction company, all different type of employers dealing with construction, dealing with civil engineer, we all understand that the role of project in our organization. It basically means that if you don't have a project, you are in trouble. Correct or not? In a business sense. Yeah. So if I am a construction company, if 2023 my project almost finished already, I start to worry. When is my new project coming in? Any new tender? Any new opportunity? We're always searching for a new project. Sometimes we got too many projects, we are scared. Sometimes we got no project, we are very scared also. No money, no income. Then how to pay engineers? How to pay site supervisor? Sometimes in 1 year, you can have like 5 billion project going on, worth of project. But next year, small project habis, finish already. Then how? No new things coming up on the market. Then you need to be able to have financial cash flow that tie you over that period of no project or try to win new projects. So every engineering organization appreciate the fact that our job will start, it will end. at one point in time. And you're always trying to juggle a few things, a few projects at a time. Okay. And even if you don't juggle a few projects at a time, you will also make sure that project by project can join. When this finish, that one start, or before this finish, the other one start. So we are always juggling. So for any engineering organization, for any civil engineering organization, we always appreciate that. We appreciate the context of project. Okay. And we basically will also understand that project in today's engineering environment is always fulfilling some form of customer's requirement. Okay. Whether you are as a private organization, as a private developer, trying to embark onto a new project, you are trying to deliver houses to the people. You're trying to deliver commercial shop lot to people. You're trying to deliver a supermarket. You're trying to deliver a building for a certain company. So it's always customer based. Whereby government project like infrastructure project, you may say that we don't have a client, okay, and the client themselves may be JKR, they may be state government, they may be federal government, but who is your client? The client are the end users of the project, such as the road users, such as the people using the jetty, the wharf, the public, Malaysia, us, people like us, we have to use those facilities. So it is also based on the needs and the desire of the people. Okay, so bearing that in mind, okay, we cannot let project be doing whatever it like, whatever you like by itself. You cannot embark onto a project and then you go to sleep and then 10 months later you wake up, the project's up. It doesn't happen like that. So there must be an appreciation that running a project is hard work. So anyone runs a project that you get more wrinkles, you get more white hair better lah. Sometimes get botak some more. After you work on the project, you say, oh, my hair, how come like more and more tinggi, sini sampai sini sudah, you used to be here, So it's a lot of stress. So our job as a project manager, as a civil engineer who manage project, it's a very stressful environment. You cannot expect you go to work and relax. Yeah. And I'm not sure whether anyone will have that wrong feeling that, why is my life so stressful? Can I not have all this stress? Can. Go and do something else lah. Yeah, you can always go and sell Amway, or go and marry somebody rich also can, or find yourself a rich wife, then you don't have to work, kan? So you can't. So if as a profession, as a civil engineer, we have to work. We have to embark, we have to be in the project environment all the time. And our project environment requires us to solve problem, solve customers' problem, solve clients' problem, solve people's complaint, fulfill people's requirement, make sure that your client is happy, fulfill the objective of the project, time, cost, quality. Every meeting you feel like you always get scolded. Yeah, you always get scolded. Yeah, it's always a boom, 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 boom. Why am I the one only cannot tembak? Yeah, but actually you're not the only one. Everyone will get shoot. Yeah, in every meeting. Right? That is just the appreciation that you must have. That is a norm, very normal. Why? Because as a profession, as a civil engineer, our job is to solve problems. Our job is to make judgment, to solve problems for our public, for our end user, for people using our facilities. Whether you're from contractor, whether you're a client, whether you are designer, from the consultant, it doesn't matter. Okay, your job is to solve problems. And when you're in that project context, you need to move the vehicle to make sure that things are being done, work are being carried out, problems are being resolved, decisions are being made, in all for the good of the project. Okay, so this is what we call the project context. Okay, and and also in that sense, I need you to understand before I move into other component of what we call project management. I need you to appreciate the fact that a lot of us engineers like to think of project as its own. Like, I'm in this project, and this is a road project. I need to build a freeway. I need to build a highway from Kuching to Bintulu, or I need to build drain. I need to build houses or whatever. You only see your project as itself, and you don't get the appreciation of project environment. You need to know that all engineers need to see that the solution that you create will actually affect external. And whatever external environment that you have, internal or external, it will affect your project. So if you see your project as a center core, the most direct layer, the first layer around your project will be the direct things that is close to your project. For example, the supplier, the subcontractor, your workers, your logistic, your geographical location, your site soil. All these things are the site the site characteristic. These are the things that will directly affect your project. Okay, so you need to manage that. Most of us remember to manage that. Yeah, we say, okay, I know I have to manage my workers. I have to manage my my machinery. We remember that. That is the first layer. Okay, your project team, your project expertise, who are the experts on your team. But then what about the second layer? Your project authority. You are working in the legal system of Malaysia. There are government authority body that you need to work with. There are contracts that you need to fulfill. So all these are the second layer. So when your plan are being approved by the authority, they have a say in your project. Whatever you build later, the authority, local councils, or the drainage department, or the housing department, or whatever agency, they may need to be the one that maintain the project. You know how many houses, all the drains are actually maintained by councils. The big drains are maintained by the drainage department, DID. Water has to come from Kuching Water Board. So we need to also remember there's a second layer here. And this is our local factor. Okay, our local factor, whatever our local authority do, the laws, the regulation, the ordinances, it will affect your design, it will affect your project. So you cannot sit as an island and say that I don't communicate with people. I only sit here and do my design. After I design my client, okay, I build already. You must understand that there's a second layer. It's like that little nucleus in between. Then you have a first layer, which is your project, actual project environment, followed by your local factor. And then you also have a big external environment, such as the environmental impact. Okay, you also have culture and heritage. How many of us, that I actually had a class this morning. I was just reminded again and again that in Sarawak, our legal system is actually a plural system. Plural systems means that you don't only just have common law. You don't only just follow one system. There is customary law. There is personal law. There is Islamic law, Sharia law. So when you do your project, you have to remember that you have a plural legal system to deal with. Some of us may build in the rural area. They have their own customary law. They have their own state land law. States Sarawak have their own land law. So if let's say West Malaysia engineer come here, you be shocked. You know what's going on? How can the people here behave like that? Yeah. And if we go Pahana, Terengganu, we are also shocked. They have got their what adat istiadat, and then they've got all these what I don't know what's the name of those their own set of customary law as well. You see, so Malaysia is not only just about the legal system, the legal framework of Malaysia. You know, our law is a pluralism law. Okay, it happens in many countries that has ethnic, multiracial society. So we must appreciate that the legal part, the economy, our work, our project, how would it contribute or how would it affect, or the legal system, how does it affect our contractual system for your project later on. So as engineers, we are trying to understand the management of the project, not only to manage our project as time, cost, quality, risk. You know, always that the same old song that you sing until everybody is so bored. Yeah, but we need to appreciate. We need to not only appreciate, we need to be aware of our project context. It's a big context. You know, I don't have. Do I have a pen here? I want to scribble there, but I'm a bit worried that Wan Bing cannot see also. I don't have a pen also. Yeah. Oh yeah, got. So you see, when you have your project, okay, when you have your project in the center, you also have direct project itself, the elements of the project that would directly affect your decision, you know, your problem solving. Because we can see that for project manager, our job is problem solving. You receive phone call every morning, it's about problem. It's about side problem. Yeah, and then you need to solve problem. Yeah. So our decision making, our side problem solving, you don't want to create more problems with your decision or your non-decision. So as a project manager, not everybody can be a project manager. You know, if you have those, if you're one of those people that you cannot choose whether you want to buy a white shoes or a pink shoes, then you better don't be a project manager. Whether you want to buy a Nike shirt or an Adidas shirt, you can't even make a decision like that, then you better don't. You know, because then you'll be losing more hair. Then you, for ladies, periods suddenly don't even count anymore. So stressed, you see. So this is a job that is not for people with very weak heart, and with very sensitive, easily pangsang, you know, like easily fainted, that kind of people. Also, we have to be tough. Okay? And it's not to say that we have to be really like a bad ass all the time, you know, like go to site, score people, flip table, you know, kind of thing. And we're not like that, you know, but then at least we have to be very stable. We're very strong in terms of when we're facing with problems, and your mind, your logical thinking, your decision making. We try to groom our students to understand that when you solve problem, it's not only solve problem for the project. You know, you see the needs and demands, and then you say, okay, now this is my needs and demand, and I will solve problem based on this. But you need to understand, what is your project capacity? Do you have the people to do the job? Do you have the designer to do the job? Are you going to engage external designer? If you engage external designer, do you have people to look after them? You know, if they come up with something that you don't even understand, can you agree to that? You see, as a client. So many situations, we need to understand the project itself, see? This is the direct factor around your project. And then we have our local. This is dealing with the direct, not only technical, but also authority. And we sometimes remember authority, but we forgot about technical. meaning that you're building in this location. So when you do your design, you forgot that they'll be raining 2 kilometers. When it's rain, it's not only raining on your side. Huh? 2, 3, 5, 10 kilometers up there also raining. And when the water gush down to your side, combined with your side water, then you got flooding. But when we design, we forgot about it. We think that the rain, the cloud only hangs on your project. Huh? So when you do water design, you only think, oh, how many PE I have, how many population I have, and I calculate mine already pass. But you don't know the pipe actually comes from Batu Kitang, somewhere that is 20 kilometers. Along the way, the water needs to go to different places also. You see? And then by the time it reaches your place, it's already certain pressure already. So do you really have it? So you need to understand the local environment surrounding your project. Whether you're in design or whether you're problem solving doing project management or not, you need to gain that appreciation. Completely to gain that appreciation. Okay? It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not something that I say now, tomorrow you're so smart, you can do it already. Yeah? But it will be something that you need to train your brain. Whenever I face with a problem, I think, okay, now this is where I am, this is the problem, where the problem comes from, and what does it relate to. So you need to go up layer by layer. And then the last layer will be the actual project environment, the big environment, okay? The legal system, the culture, the heritage, even religion, even publicity, even media. We all know now one Facebook, one thing wrong, not tomorrow, 2 hours later, you see your face on Facebook. Huh? You don't want to be a public figure that way, huh? You don't want to be popular that way, you see, huh? In China, I think they always say that I don't want to go up to Weibo, like the first search on Weibo. Number 1 on the search engine, meaning that everybody is searching that issue. Huh? So you don't want to be famous that way. So we need to understand the actual environment, the actual project site environment. Legal system is definitely the environment. Is there any potential pollution or affecting the river systems or affecting the ground conditions and all that? That is in this environment that you need to look after. This is before we even can come up with the scope of work. You need to understand this. So when we move to scope management, this is the first thing that I will emphasize on. So I'm emphasizing on it now from the project context. Your project is not only this fellow here in the middle, it's actually the whole thing. Okay? Culture, heritage, law. What else? Media. This is the company, the organization. So this is the local geographical site, surrounding site. Sorry, my handwriting is always bad. Surrounding site, so you have to be able to read that. Never mind. Yeah. Just get you an issue. So you need to appreciate that many of these things will affect your project. And on the vice versa, your project decision making and your design will also affect the other things. So this is a to and fro thing. Some of these links are very strong. Some of these links are very medium. Some of these links are very weak. So in project management, we want to have this thinking. Because you see, problem solving is thinking that I have a problem, I look for option, and I study my option. What is the best? What is the advantage of my solution? A, what is the disadvantage? These are the usual training that we have for our brain as engineer. So we are very logical problem solver. We will find problems, we will look at our problems, we'll study our problems, and then we will come up with options for solution. And then from the options to solution, we'll choose which one brings us the most benefit. Isn't that true? Yeah? This is how we always do as engineer. But here, we're asking you to look at the problem from a higher perspective. And this higher perspective will look at the project in a system manner. So this is what we call a system way. The whole project is a system, and a system that deals with external and internal system. So when you solve problem, you need to see where is my strong link, with what issues am I having any strong link here. If this is dealing with a very strong link with the government authority, then this must be something that we must resolve. Then if we resolve it, it will affect the government authority decision is so important. What will it affect? And if it affects this thing, what would it affect next? There may be interrelationship here. So we call it system thinking. Okay, not only just problem solving. It's considered what we call, if you search for this word system. So this is the whole context of a project, as in a project environment. Okay, so we must have this system thinking first, in the first place, before you move on and talk more about management. If management, you only solve problem, you may realize that later on, more things come. And then you didn't address those things. So without system thinking, you cannot be a good manager. You cannot be a good project manager. It will always have to be, your brain is so auto in system thinking. And this is the foundation of how you should be thinking all the time. Whether you're as a contractor, whether you're working as from a client perspective, you have to have that model in your head all the time. Then you will find that your decision and the way that you do problem solving, it will be a lot more wholesome, a lot more healthy in a way, and it will be a lot. It will solve more things, and not create even more problems. Okay, so this is the idea of system thinking. Okay. All right, so I think this particular section of the notes is just to basically remind everybody that for project, it is actually seated in a very corporate environment. It's actually seated in a business environment. And most of the time when we do problem solving, we also would like to look at the company's objective. We will also look at the mission and vision of the company and the culture of the company before we can resolve the issues here. You see, and like I said, comprising with the system thinking, we hope that project manager are actually trained to be more wholesome in that sense. You're more steady in that sense. When you approach problem, it's just not like I see the problem, I keep on looking at that problem and zero on that problem, but you need to think of it as overall, overall in that problem in the whole project environment, in the whole project system. Okay, and obviously, project also have project stakeholders, people who are concerned with the project. Okay, we have primary stakeholder. We also have secondary stakeholders. These are all people, a bit like that thing that I'm talking about over there. These are like people who are concerned. Externally, there are people who are concerned with the project, or internally, there are people who are concerned with the project. The primary stakeholder will obviously be the shareholders, be your bosses, your clients. These are the direct people who will be have a share in the project. And of course, externally, even though they don't pay, but they may use the road. You see, it's just like when we go traveling. When you see the infrastructure of the country, you go like, wow, the infrastructure is so good, or toilet is so clean. These are the layer. Even though we are not paying the project people to build, but then we have an opinion, and that opinion will be affecting the national identity. It will be affecting what other people think about your country even. You see, so about your country's culture, your country's people's behavior, manner, and that is part of social as well. When you go to the place, oh, this place has very nice air, like you feel very happy to be there. So this even things like tourism, and also hotels, all these will be affected by civil engineering work. Yeah, so you need to um, think of it in a wider environment. Yeah, obviously there are some things that we may not be able to see all the time now. Like people say, okay, build Pan Borneo. It will affect tourism later. It will affect logistics later. It will affect businesses later. It will affect economics later. Used to be I need to have 17 hours to go to Miri. Now, after the Pan Borneo is built, maybe it only takes me 5 hours or 6 hours. I transport my group. My client call me from Miri and say that I need this packet of chocolate, like from you. Can you send it to me? Can, by today it will reach you. You see, directly affect the impact of infrastructure, of good engineering work on the economy, on the social aspects, on the health of people and all that. Reduce accident, reduce we don't have to travel at night anymore, and it may reduce accident rate on roads. Many impact that we have. So our stakeholders, people who are concerned with our project, is a lot. Maybe a lot more if you say compared to mechanical engineers, compared to manufacturing. As civil engineers, I think our role in terms of on nation building is a lot bigger compared to other engineering. Okay, so yeah, this project stakeholder will be a lot of institutions and people who are going to be affected by the project as well. Yeah, so this is what I've been trying to explain here on the system thinking. So this is the environmental scan of the project. So you can take a look and see, if there's anything that we miss out, or for your project. Not everything will be applicable, not everything will be applicable, but generally you need to scan the project environment, okay, before we make any decision. And and of course, the next slides that we have will be so we will move in once I give you the context of a project environment, okay, and system thinking, stakeholders, and based on that foundation, when we move into managing a project, like I say, project management a lot of times is dealing with decision making, problem solving. Okay, if you can do this well, that means you are actually considering to do well as a project manager. So in terms of project, now the context of project, okay, before we move into scope management and all that. So with that, we also form scope management. You see the idea of scope management. So let's say if we have a need, a demand, for travel, for shorten the time of travel among the state to build up the rural areas, for example. So this could be the different objectives different government organization may have, or it could be private developers, that they have different goals and objectives. So with the new idea of new project, before we say that, let's go and build highway. When we talk about building, tallest building, we talk about joining Sarawak together through the rural area, we're talking about billions of dollars. We're talking about years of construction, years of commitment, years of employment of engineers, QSs, architects, and all that, of professional people, opportunity in the state. It's very big concern. Yeah. So we cannot simply say, oh yeah, build lah. Got problem, solve lah. True enough. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure now you say that, public transport, so many jam everywhere. So then some guy will come and say that, hey, let's build metro. Build where? I want in BDC. No, 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 no. I want in Unimas. No, 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 no. I want in Samara. Midway Crescent. Is it like that? Is project form like that? No, it's not. Even though sometimes it may sound like that, especially in the hands of politicians, it always sounds like that. But in terms of professional engineers, we need to consider a lot of things. Before we even say build metro, build LRT, build underground metro system, or build train system, there is many options. Why must you build like rail transport? Why can't you build MRT? Why can't you just build train system? Why don't you do the bus system better? They solve all the problem already, guys. Maybe, you see. So when we want to embark onto a project, this sort of thinking straight away, you will start to use it. It's not only during the site problem solving, like people call you problem solving. The concrete not set. What should we do? Should we knock it off, or should we redo it, or should I put in more things? These are the small things. Yeah. But overall, system thinking is already starting to apply, even in scope management. So when you have a need, when you have a demand, first of all, you need to do what we call issue analysis. You need to do a study on the project environment. Sit down and you split your chart into different pies. For especially those of you who may be working with the state planning authority in the future, or working with the client, especially coming out with infrastructure work and all that. It is just not so much of somebody say something and then we all everybody hang out, want to go and do the project already. It has to be that process, the thought process of the study process that you are going on, and the first process before we even think about coming up with a project. We need to first and foremost, very importantly, study. Okay, study what? Study what is a project. What is a project? What are we thinking of building? What will be the solution, potential solution? Okay? So if the question is to reduce travel time, the question is to improve connectivity, the question is to improve the jam, the traffic congestion in the urban area of Kuching, for example. And then we need to speak up, take this picture out, draw these boxes out, and then you split out into different segments, and then look at the project environment first. Okay, and then so these are very generic stuff lah. To me, these are like baby punya barang lah. Like so many things that you've heard of before. Even if I talk about it, I feel a bit boring lah. To talk about this. Yeah, but boring also have to talk lah. A little bit lah. So to understand a project, we all understand we are all in a project context. I don't have to convince you to say that we are doing a project. Okay, and we are all doing projects of different phases of the project life cycle. We have different project life cycle is different from a product life cycle is different. But let's say if you want to build a road, inside there may be different projects. There may be part on road, there may be part on water, there may be part on telecommunication, the tower transmission line. There may be different projects within the product. Okay, so you must first and foremost split out what is a product, what is a project. Okay, so if your solution is a product, maybe the solution is a product. So a product is like a bridge is a product. Okay, so if let's say I cannot travel from this point to the other point, I have to use ferry. So then the government said that let's do something. Let's connect the dots. So then the product that you first think of, it can be a product. I think we should build a bridge. But don't go too far yet. So build a bridge is what? You need to study. So in that, study the actual needs and demands first. Make sure that you come up with the proper concept first. And before you come up with the concept, you really need to understand the project environment first. Okay? And so every project is to only be said completed when the stated objective is being met. So project life cycles means that the project will go through different phases before it's being delivered. Okay. And the phases are comprising of different sections. I mean, I've just moved on straight on to this project life cycle here. So first, starting from zero, we have needs and demands. So we must understand that needs and demands. There must be proper survey work that is done, proper needs study that is done, whether is there really a substantial need for it. Okay, we don't want to embark onto something cost you a few $1 million and then end up it's just only 1 or 2 kampong use it, and then it doesn't have potential to grow into something else. Yeah? So we need to study that needs and demands, the requirement of the client very carefully. Okay, get that done, get that study first, and then after that, you put that needs and demands into that project environment context, and then you study that context of the environment. Okay, whether you're going to be dealing with a lot of economy, whether you're going to be dealing with a lot of social, whether you're going to be dealing with the law. It could be dealing, some places we could be dealing with customary native land law and all that. So you need to study that. Put that in the context of the environment and where the problems may come from, where the issue may come from that will stop you from meeting your objective. So in this first stage, it can be a product. It can be just a product. I want to build a wharf. Okay, I want to build roads. Okay, so the idea, the concept is there. So the needs, the demand, you understand it. What are the needs, what are the demands, and how strong is the need, and how whether it's really a need or a demand, is different as well. If it's a need, it really needs it. The people needs it. If it's a demand, it's just meaning to make your life a bit better, a bit easier. That is demand. Okay. So then there is a prioritization of needs and demands. Need, of course, will come first. Demand can be later. Okay. So once we have understand the needs and demand, putting it in the project context, then we will conceptualize. And when we conceptualize, we are essentially trying to understand what product that we're going to be doing. So it could be a bridge, like I said, it could be a road, it could be a road network system, it could be a highway. Okay, so you already see the product. You can sketch, to join the bridge. This is the bridge that I'm going to build. These are the piping system from this channage to this channage. I'll be building around this area. So you got this product concept out already. In conceptualization, it's about the product first. Then you start to break it down. Break it down into project activities. Okay? And it can be broken down into different projects as well. So it can be by phases as well. It doesn't have to be one go, one shot, you build the whole thing. It can be building on one side and then 10 years later you build on the other side. Yeah, like for example, bridges. Obviously, Samarahan Bridge, 20 years ago, it's only two lane. Then the needs and demand has grown, so they built another one. So 2 lane going up, 2 lane coming down. So it will grow. So the project, now the Samarahan connectivity is actually 2 projects, but the product is still a bridge. It's a 4-lane bridge built at 2 different times. So from conceptualization, it's about coming up with the product idea, sketches of the product, the data, and all that. Then you do feasibility. Can this be done? Can this be done? Whether you have the money, whether you have the technical expertise, whether it is technically, economically advantageous. What is the operation cost like? What is the maintenance cost like? Who is going to do the maintenance? How much public will be using it? How much savings will you get out of it? How much revenue can you get out of it? If I build a pipeline, how much money can I collect from the water bill? And or how much money can be saved. People don't have to wait to go to the, the river to carry the water anymore. How much money can be saved? How much effort can be saved through all this activity? Can they make irrigation? Can they plant more paddy? Can they do more vegetation? Can they bring up the economy of the area? So we need to understand also the feasibility studies. So I will go through this in more detail in scope management. So this is like what you can see we're going to be doing in scope management. So from conceptualization to feasibility study, and then we will start to come up with the project component. The project component can be a bridge, and the bridge can be two parts, or it can be road, it can be a road system that is 4 lanes first, and then later on being expanded into 8 lanes, for example. So this is the part that we will go into engineering already. It can be a product component, and the product component can be a project by itself. You guys understand? Like I don't want you all to jump into it and say that, okay, to build a bridge is a project. First, you must define what is a product, what is a project. For every product that we have, we can actually build it over different time. We can also build a different component of the project at different time. For example, metro, you can actually do 1 line first, but the whole system of a metro is the product. Okay, so then it can be split into 5, 6 different projects based on the lines built at different time, or even 2 lines can be built at the same time. It doesn't matter. Okay, so it's the component of the project that we need to actually define. So from there, from the conceptualization to the feasibilities, we got our product. From the product itself, you are going into smaller components of the project component, which each of the components can be a project by itself. If the product is very small, for example, 1 shop we build, that is your project. Okay, so I don't want you all to jump straight into thinking that a product is a project. Okay? Because every component, like a university like this, you want to build FK, you want to build FSGK, you want to build the medical building. University itself is a product, but the different faculty inside there is different project, different components of that big product, and then it may be carried out and managed at a different time. And things will change because this year I built FK, but maybe 2 years later I said, should I continue to build FIT? Maybe not. Is there a demand for it? So you still can have time to take off project or add on component. Nothing is fixed in that sense. Yeah? It is based on the situation, based on the demand, based on the needs, based on the environment, the project environment at that point in time as well. Okay? So then with that, when the components of the project is clear, we start to do actual engineering work, design, construction, and then calculating of the cost, schedule, and all that. And then we deliver the project. And then after that, we test, we commission. And then after that, we put it into operation. So then we have our components, partial components of the product, or we have the final product. That is the whole process of project, of coming up with the scope of work. Okay, this is a general overview of coming up with the scope of work of any project. Okay, so there's a specific slides here that we actually talked about project life cycle and product life cycle. So a product life cycle can have singular or multiple projects. Yeah, and a product life cycle is longer, Because if you use the bridge, it's going to be maybe 50 years, 100 years. You know, the project itself may finish in 2-3 years. Yeah. And project life cycle has a definite end time, definite start time. Okay. And then the product itself is really depending on the market, on the demand, on the user's behavior, on the user's demand. And the project is to fulfill, you know, the components of the product that you need to build the project. So we want to get that very clear, not just product. Every time we think about building is coming up with the final product. Okay. And that is not very healthy in that way. Huh? We need to understand slowly, take it slow and steady, so that we understand each component of the project, each component of the product, and then if necessary, they are all different projects that you will be embarking on. Okay. Any issues so far? Anything that you want to share with us? Is one thing still okay? Hi, Wan Bing, are you okay? Still okay? Still alive? Hi, you can't see the screen. Can you see the screen?
No.
Can you see this screen that we have here? You can, huh?
Yeah.
No, you can't. Oh dear. Why? Why can't you see? Now
Yeah.
you can see, huh?
Yeah.
This is
Okay.
the slides, huh? Oh dear. Terrible. Okay. I'm kind of looking forward to go back to the online one where I don't have to think two things at the same time. Okay, so I'll just quickly go through these slides, even though I find it really boring. Okay. I mean, at master's level, you don't know what is project life cycle, man. You know, I'm pretty sure you know what is project life cycle. So, well, basically, so project life cycle is a series of phases that the project have to go through from the start to its completion. So, project life cycle provides the basic framework, okay, for managing the project, okay, and it can be sequential, it can be overlapping, and these are some of the processes that needs to go into the project as a project life cycle. Okay, and project life cycle, the reason why we touch on project life cycle is not because of I want to bore you, but it's because this is very much strongly related to scope management. Okay, it's only through understanding of the project life cycle that you can gain appreciation of how to come up with the proper scope of work later. Like I said, the idea is the product itself. Okay, a bridge is a product. The university is a product. You know, the building is a product. The playground is a product. Okay, but depending on the size of your product, you can have different projects. Okay, and this different project can address the different components of that product. Okay, so when you understand project phases, okay, it's very distinctive whereby you need to go through the whole process of needs, demand, conceptualization, feasibility studies, and then solution development, and then coming up with the design, the components, and the different components will be your project later on. Okay. So the project, you imagine project is like the actual physical work that you need to do to fulfill, to come up with that component. Okay. So imagine a product can have component A, component B, component C, component D. And then each component can be a project by itself to build the foundation, to build the structure, to build the drainage, to build the piping system. to build the architectural work. So each of these components can be a project by itself. Okay? And why do I want to make it into smaller components like that? Because I do not want the habit of project manager to jump in, because the money seems big, the design seems big, everybody want to have big project, big project, big project. But do you realize that in our country, we have a lot of big project, but big project that is not well done, and big project that are lacking in terms of quality, and big project that is useless even. You build and then leave it there. Don't use one. Becomes white elephant. Become museum also nobody visit. So it is very sad. It's a waste of resources. And as engineers, it is important for us to safeguard the resources we have in our hands, because we are actually taking things away from Mother Nature. Okay, there used to be trees, there used to be mountain, there used to be soil. Why we want to take things away from Mother Nature and build something big? We always think big. But do we realize that? Do we need it at that point in time? How much do we need it? Is it a need or a demand? Can we take it slower? These resources will not run away. The tree will be there. It has been there for the past 100 years. It will still be there in the next 100 years if you don't disturb it. Where is the hurry? Why is the hurry? Is there really a hurry? Okay? And it's because of this idea of big money, big project, big status. Young people, I see a lot of young engineers, they embark onto project that is billions of dollars and they don't even know what they're getting themselves into. They have no technical capacities. They go for tender and they bid so low because they want to win the project. That is very dangerous. You don't even have enough of a concept of that item. We actually built few years ago, before MCO, we actually do some design for this raw water intake system. And companies that come and bid for it, we estimate it to be maybe 7-8 million, but then they come and bid for it, they say 4 million they can do. Project supposed to be 1 year plus up until now. MCO over already, 1 year plus 2 years, they still haven't finished constructing. Keep on saying that all the upstream, the water got too fast and all that. They didn't see it in the first place because they never bothered to think about system thinking. They never bothered to think about the project environment in the first place. So do they know what themselves they are getting in, what they themselves are getting into or not? And then you yourself go bankrupt is one thing, but people around the area will never get their project. They will never get the water supply system. And the government has already pumped in money. And then in order to cancel you, terminate you from the contract, we need to go through the whole entire process as well. And that will take another 1 or 2 years. It's a waste of resources. It's a waste of location as well. You build things that cannot harvest in that location, then later on no one can build in that location anymore. This may be the best location along the river that I can find to build that raw water intake. You take it and you cannot finish it and then you leave it there. Then where else can I build later? I need to find a new location. Okay. So with project, with scope of work, we do not want people to hurry and go into it because the money looks big. Wow, you've been awarded, 10 million project as a young company. Wow, everything looks so good. It looks so good, but the pain is always there. So you must realize that you take time to study. Government especially, take time to study. Don't because of somebody call you out from some top agency and say that, oh yeah, you need to bring in this thing, you know, election coming up, or whatever reason, you know, my people are screaming for water, therefore you build me some water system. It's not like that. You know, as a government agency, we need to have the integrity to study what is the demand, what is the population like, how many population will be using this particular system. Do a proper investigation of the needs and demand, and then put that needs and demand into the concept of, no, don't go and think about product first. Put that needs and demand into the project environment first, and see what can affect your idea, what your idea can affect, and how long will you be using this. And then maybe you only need to try out certain components first, see whether it works or not. And then later on, if it really works, the demand is good, then you continue with the next component. Why not? Do you have to build everything at a one go? It's just like treatment plant. Sarawak has a lot of treatment plant, small treatment plant. And some rivers, the water may be very good. There is just only because there's turbidity, meaning that the water may look a bit yellow, but actually it's because of the soil, not because the water sources is not good. But everybody they design a full treatment system. Every treatment system, $5-6 million. And then with chemical, you know, with filtration tank, with full set, full service. Is it really needed? Some maybe you just need a filtering system, a very good filtering system that the kampong people can manage. You build them with filtration, with chemical system. You think the kampong people knows the difference between chlorine and E. coli? You know, they don't know. So you say that, oh, you know, it's always these kampong people so uneducated one, build them things and they never know how to manage. What do you expect? What do you expect? If they're so clever, then you don't become an engineer, they become engineer kan? So you cannot keep on blaming the education and all that. Yeah, that is one part of the problem, no doubt. Yeah, but because you don't think about the system first, the system carefully, is this the right thing for this kampong? We have many stories of this kampong. There's 2-3 kampong sharing the system. And then everybody said, why must I manage? You ask that guy to manage. That guy, he went to work before in the other area. He's more smart. He go and manage. Why should I be the one manage? Or why my kampong must be the one manage? We're all sharing the same system. Nobody wants to manage. And then after 2 years, the government no more manage. Finish. Cannot work. This rosak, that rosak. This one go back, that one go back. And then the whole thing becomes white elephant. Looks good, but no use. Are we wasting money? Yes, we are wasting money. Wasting money. What about, are we wasting resources? We are wasting resources. And are we fulfilling the purpose and objective of the project? We are not. The people still don't have water. They still have to go to 2-3 kilometers down the track to get the water from the river. So don't talk about World Health Organization that, you know, by how many 2020 or 2020 something Malaysia, the Sarawak must have fully water or electricity running and all that. It will never be done. Okay, so I'm not complaining. I'm not bringing a very negative feel to you all. I just want you to address the fact that when we as engineers, whether you are in the planning stage or whether you are in the later doing the construction or design, we do want to properly understand the needs first, the needs and demands first, and then all the issues surrounding your project or surrounding whatever that you're thinking that you need to build, and give it some time to do a more in-depth study. And that in-depth studies can be feasibility, it can be technical, you know, and it can be social, It can be a financial study depending on the project itself. Okay, so when you, or it's only when you put this thing in the system thinking in the project environment context that we are talking about earlier on, this is where you can see that my project is going to be dealing highly with legal issues, with land issues. My project is going to be dealing with a lot of cultural issues, or my project may be dealing with a lot of environmental issues. And then you can slice it down and say that when you are thinking about the solution, when you're thinking about the product that will fulfill whatever needs, you will start to focus on maybe the site environment. You may be focusing, you can focus on more on the environmental effect, the pollution, or whatever impact on the pollution, if this is one of the issue. Okay, if are you working in urban area, then maybe you also have to be very concerned with the local authority and also the media, and also maybe the legal aspects of things. Then your solution is more wholesome, more streamlined, more clean in that way. So then you conceptualize, I think we need a road. I think we need a bridge. I think we can build a college here. We can build school here. And then when you say you want to build the school, you want to build the bridge, you want to build the road, these are all very expensive things. This is not like you go out there and buy nasi ayam, after dinner, after class, go dinner. Where to eat? Is it so simple? KFC? McDonald's? Kan? If it's so simple, nice lah. Life is so simple. Even KFC, McDonald's, some people already headache. Some say I want to go KFC, some say I want to go McDonald's. And then you go McDonald's, order what? I don't know also. Then you go dizzy. Okay? So what more to say when we're talking about people's life? When we're talking about nation, our nation's resources, when we're talking about our project environment, when we're talking about issues surrounding our projects, we need to be very careful. So then you pick your product. So when you pick your product, you want to streamline it, see if you can, what other components. Look at the components, the sub-components. And this is our work breakdown, you see. Before you go in and talk about the work breakdown, the work breakdown is the work already. It's like activity, dig, excavate, settlement, push the soil, bring in the machine, bring in the workers. Those are very physical things already. It's action already. Before you action, you have to think about the earlier stages of, do we need this component? Is this component optimized? Is this component the best? Is this component necessary? So from product, we look at the components. And from the components, we look if there's any sub-components. And then we decide whether we need a project or not. Or should we do it with one project, one shot, do everything? Should we do maybe part A, part B first? Focus on that first to resolve the issues at the moment, and then have opportunity to expand it later. Then you are really safeguarding your resources. Some people may not agree. Some people may say, when you do, like already so busy, one shot do everything lah. Jangan alang-alang we always like to say that. Some people are like that. You do project, masuk sana, hentam saja, picking everything. But I don't believe in that. Okay, I don't believe in that because we're dealing with a lot of resources and it's not our money. We are only the guardian of the nation taxpayers' money. We are the guardian of our clients' money. So we must know it's actually going to be well spent. Spend at the area that is necessary. Spend at the area that can really answer the question and resolve the issue. All right. So this exercise here, I want you all to go back, thinking about system thinking. Okay, if you can have, just think about any project that you have and you try to system think it first. Like, let's say if you're thinking about any project that you're currently doing, whether it's a private project or a current development project, just brainstorm. Just come up with a map, like a system, like what I've drawn on the board here. And part of it is in the other part of the notes that you can. I mean, this is not going to be an exercise that I'm going to give you like fail or pass or anything, but it's just the process of thinking about your project in a project environment. And then we will use that later on to talk more about scope management, okay, about feasibility studies, about preliminary investigation, about issue analysis, about environmental impact assessments. Then we will build up to come up with the different components of the project. So different components, does it require, is it the right time to do it? Is this now we should do it? Should we do everything at one go, or should we just split into different parts, different components, and do it at different time? Yeah. So these are the questions that we will slowly answer as we go along. Okay. Just try it on a piece of paper. When you're free, just draw it. With your friends. Like see, add in. What is the center focus? What is the external one? What is the second layer? What is the third layer? What are the things that affect your project at the moment? So if you think like that, do you realize that you have probably missed out on something, during the project time? Or do you think there are some issues that you have never thought of, maybe? Okay. Use that as a, like a way to brush out on the thinking. This thing doesn't come naturally. It doesn't come naturally. It will take time for you to think like that. It's a matter of mind, your mind mapping. Okay, so then every project, it will go through this sort of structure. Okay, you have start up a project, you prepare, you carry out the work, and then you end the project. So these are very normal, generic of what the project have to go through. A lot of us blame if the project is not successful at the end of it. We always blame the carrying out of the work. Carrying out meaning the construction, blame the contractor, the contractor tak pandai, the contractor not hardworking, the contractor didn't bring in the quality material. We always blame it on the execution. Blame it on the supervision, the engineers too malas, too lazy, they never really go to supervise. When ask them to check, they never bother. So a lot of dispute and all that will come in this part. But actually, if we don't start the project correctly and organize our resources properly in the first place, the issue will manifest in the construction. It will only come out, but that is not the root of the problem. Okay, and so project life cycle and these 10 areas of knowledge, we are going to cover that: scope, time, cost, quality, risk, procurement, and then team, integration, communication. So there'll be PM box, the 9 areas. The 9 areas plus the integration is the 10 areas. That is fully related to project management in terms of a civil engineering project. So our course will be based on these project knowledge areas. Okay. And then the last bit here, we're talking about processes, different processes that goes into managing a project. So I think this one is whatever you've gone through as well. It's like the project is being initiated, and then there'll be planning, execution, monitoring, controlling phases, and closing phases. This is what we call the management function. Like when you apply the function of management into a project, okay, you're essentially carrying out project management. So you are taking a project, the context of a project, and then you marry it with the management. So it becomes project management. It's a knowledge area. So what do you manage? You manage time, you manage quality, you manage procurement, you manage risk, you manage scope. So these few areas that you manage is the knowledge of this. You apply that into the body of knowledge. That is whereby you're actually carrying out the whole process of project management. Project management, it sounds like a lot of theory, but in fact, practice is very important. Very important. So for people who are not working, I think it sounds like a lot of theory. But once you start working, you will find it is very practical. A lot of this idea, the knowledge and the techniques and all that, you'll be applying it again and again throughout your career. And the hardest bit will be, again, not learning the theory, and also not only learning the technique, like how to do a schedule, how to use Microsoft Project, how to come up with the cost plan. It's not that difficult, but the hard bit is your thinking ability. How to solve problem, how to address issues, how to fully understand your problem, and then carry it out so that the project is successful. That is the hard bit. Okay? That is a bit that is the most difficult to train. Technique is not difficult. Theory you can always memorize also, yeah. But then it's the part that how you approach the problem that is the part that is the hardest. So again, my concept is just not to give you techniques only. It's about mentality. So today I focus so much on this idea of system thinking in the first class, because that is the part that you need to gear your brain towards that form of thinking. Instead of look at problem, find out on the problem, solve problem, options, and then solve. We take time to look at the project context first. And then from there, think about what can affect what. Okay, what is the medium link between each project? Each element. What are the weak link? Weak link means that the effect is very light. It doesn't affect so much one another. Some project may be not affecting, certain things are not so applicable. So the weak link. Some project with some other elements are very strong. Some is medium. Okay, so you need to understand the whole picture first. Then you apply the technique into the project itself. Like let's say time, let's say cost. So with this same system thinking, not only scope management, you apply that. With project cost, you also apply that. Why? We only think about construction costs, manpower, machinery, labor, material. But do we think about other costs? Do we think about authority costs? Do we think about legal costs? Do we think about applying for way leave? Do we need to pay to get the police to come out and guide the traffic? There's many other things that we may need to pay. It may cost money. Do we think about future operation and maintenance costs? We cannot just build only. Malaysia are very good with building. Build and then later on no maintenance. And they want to find money for maintenance, always say, ayo, no money for maintenance lah. No budget for maintenance. Why? Why isn't this thought of when you want to start the project? Okay? And you need to look at the company's capacities, what your company has and don't have. What needs to be outsourced? And when you outsource something, do you know how to control the quality of the outsourcing? Suppliers, subcontractors. Okay, so you need to think not only, in cost management, not only that, For time management, it's the same. If you don't have system thinking, what do? You look at the schedule, you say, okay, this activity is going to be 5 days, put 5 days. This activity, I think roughly, from my experience, about 10 days, so you put 10 days. So you draw your Gantt chart. But this Gantt chart, this cost plan, they are going to be the commitment that you'll be giving to the project. If you draw the Gantt chart and say 18 months to finish the project, contractually, we're talking about 18 months. If you fail to do it, you are breaking the contract. You're breaking your commitment. So what makes you think that you can simply draw a Gantt chart without thinking about all the other elements that may affect the project? So some of us call it risk. Some of us call it experience. I have a lot of experience. I know this is going to happen. So I think I better give it more time. So without this method of thinking, you will never see the big picture. You will always be looking at the project like this. This is my project. And then you look and you jadi juling. Yeah? What you need to do is you need to take it away, look at it from far. What are the other elements that will affect my project? And when you say affect your project, time is affected, money is affected, quality is affected, procurement is affected. Don't say everything open tender can, lump sum contract can. Do you look at the project environment? Do you look at the project? Is it the product? Is it the component itself? And then determine the best way to procure this project. What is the best terms and conditions? Who is the best person to do the job? What is the best way to procure? You ever think about that? Everything is standard. Traditional general contracting. Design and build. Lump sum. Decisions are made just like that. Just because of whatever that is easier. Not whatever that is good for the project. So you can see how important this method of thinking is towards project management. Okay? Not only it will affect, even if you do communication management, even if you do team management, a lot of issues are not what it seems to be. It may look like this two-person quarreling and having conflict, but it could be an external issue. Without resolving the external issue, the conflict will never be resolved. So as project manager, it's your job to look at it in a wholesome manner, not just look at it like this. Yeah? Okay, so this is what I want to emphasize on essentially. And then the rest is just like very theoretical, like initiation. What do you mean by initiation? Project management plan. And then you need to do a project management plan. And then what is planning? Defining the course of action. What you do the baseline. These are all typical things that you've heard of before. And then after that, plan for your schedule, plan for your work progress, plan for your scope, plan for your schedule, plan for your cost, plan for your quality, plan for your resources. You see, planning has to be done. If you don't do planning, technically, you are just asking for problem lah. Right. So planning, communication, and then you execute. This is the functions of management. After you've organized your resources, you plan and you organize your resources, and then you start to move into the actual work, doing the work itself. And that is the construction aspects normally, to get the resources in, to do the machinery will comes in, the labor will come in, the material will arrive on site, being stored and bring up together, and then start to build and construct. So this is the part that the most busy part of the work, and the most of us will be involved in execution of the project as well. And it also can involve this part, planning will also involve design, and then this part is mainly construction, And then these are the areas: stakeholder, quality, resources, communication, risk management. These are all the work that will need to be implemented during the project itself. Then acquire resources, develop team, manage team. These are all the typical activities within the execution phase. And of course, you have monitoring, which means you're tracking and reviewing. As your project goes, you need to track it, review it. You don't go to sleep and then wake up, 20 months later and say, how's everything? Good. We don't do that. So it's going to be busy time. You need to track, you need to review, you need to see what can be changed, what is different, what can be changed, how to improve, and all that. Collecting data, performance data, and then doing the measurement between the plan and the actual, and see how to bring things back to the original baseline. Okay. Right. Monitoring, controlling. These are all the activities that goes into monitoring, controlling, and of course the last bit is closing up. So these are the typical activities that we do over the project. And then when we apply all these activities as management activities, we are essentially doing project management. You can apply all these activities in a grocery shop. If you open a grocery shop, you can also plan. You can also you also execute. You also check your stock. Check your pricing, check your inventory. A lot of things to check, monitor, control as well. You're doing management, so we call you the grocery store manager. Then manager, you also manager. If you go to the bank also got manager. They also do planning. They also do execution. They also do controlling, monitoring. At the end of the day, the staff need to count money, and check how much money in, how much money out, how much check coming in, how much check going out, and then all the transferring and all that. They are also doing management. As long as you're doing planning, execution, controlling, monitoring, when you're doing these processes, you are managing. So for us, is what is there to manage? Ours is a project. Okay, and project has different elements such as time, cost, quality, procurement, risk, communication, team, resources. We have many elements that we need to manage for our project. And these processes of managing for a project will not be repeating itself, meaning that from one project to another project, you will probably be doing different things. You may be having the same knowledge, but the way you apply it, or the issues or the problems that comes out from different areas, different project may be different. So from different project, you apply it differently. You apply the knowledge of management differently. Okay. So today, basically, to summarize, to cap off, is to get you guys to go into the context of a project. What is a project? What is management? What are the processes of management? Okay. And then when you marry these two, when you apply the concept of management into a project, which all civil engineers are familiar with. If I'm talking to a MSEEM, the engineering management group, they have QSs, they have got architects, they've got different people. It's very difficult for me to explain project. But here you all are very familiar. You all are doing project every day. Yeah? Over your lifetime as an engineer, you'll be doing projects. You'll never be running a company. Yeah? You'll never be really managing anything but a project. Even if you end up with your own consultancy or firm or your own contractor firm, you are still going to be working in projects. So these are something that I think is not difficult for us to capture. So with that concept of project and management, you're applying it onto what? You're applying it onto certain areas of knowledge, which is, like I say, in a cost plan, scope, procurement, time, cost, quality, risk, team, communication, integration, resources, occupational health and safety, even for civil engineers. So there are a few areas that you need to apply these processes in. Okay, so when you're applying these processes, there is a lot of techniques, a lot of tools that you learn. You learn how to do scheduling, you learn how to do flow chart for project quality, you learn how to do PQP, project quality plan, or you learn how to do cost budget, BQs. Those are all tools and techniques. Okay? You can learn, you may not learn it fully, but once you practice it, you will create your own styles based on the knowledge that you have. Or some of you will learn it very well and you find it very easy to learn. Okay? Some of you will find it difficult because you feel like it's not very suitable for your own thought process. Yeah, you can always modify. So these are only just foundation. Okay? Some of it may not be fitting for your company. Some of it may not be fitting completely to your project. Yeah. So when you learn about tools and techniques and all that, what are they for? They are for you to solve problems. They're for you to carry out project delivery. You want to deliver the project successfully. Within the project, there'll be a lot of issues, a lot of challenges, a lot of problems, a lot of phone calls telling you that this happened, what can I do? Okay? And you use that tools and techniques to help you make decision. It's decision making. Okay? At the end of the day, we want to deliver the project well to the hands of our client. Whether it's a public end users or whether it's a private client, our commitment is to deliver the project. Client spends so much money, you don't want him or her to walk away with nothing. You don't want her to walk away with something that is that is not right. And that is not comfortable to live in, or that is not right for him to do businesses in. So we don't want that. We want to fulfill the customer's requirement. We want people's lifestyle to be enhanced, to be better, the nation to be built. That is why we need to deliver the project. It's a commitment. So when we think about delivery of the project, what we have mentioned today, the most important thing is to think in a project context. And that project context is the project environment context, and which is what we call system thinking. So whenever we solve problem, we do not want to just solve the issue itself. We want to make sure that we bring about solution that will fully solve the issues within the project environment. Or when we look at problems and issues, we don't want to just look at the problems and issue itself, but also what causes it, what affects it, and what the solution will affect later. And this mentality of system thinking will give you a more wholesome problem solving. One layer of problem solving is you can do the techniques. It's just like mathematics is one of the way of solving problem. 1 + 1 = 2. Yeah. So we learn that. Okay. Some of you learn it, some of you cannot learn it. 1 + 1 is never equals to 2. It becomes 11. Yeah. So yes, tools and techniques is one way of problem solving. But in project management, the higher order is not only to solve the problem, but to understand where it comes from, how it brings about this problem, and what the solution can do. Not only to solve the issues, but what are the other things that can be resolved at the same time. Then you will have a more wholesome problem solving and a better decision making, okay, technique that you have. So it's a combination of a lot of things. Yeah, you say that in the past 50 years, I don't have system thinking. Also, I already do my engineering project. Yeah. So what is this so special? Yeah. You have to understand that in the older days, things are less complicated. Okay. There is not that many professionals. Yeah. Now one project, you look at every project, got engineers, got architect, got QS. There are many different professionals working, and the mind of people working, the intelligence, and the level of thinking, and also the involvement of many things are actually greater. So yeah, in the old days, we can solve problem. Like we look at a problem, we study the problem, we study the issues, and then we find solution A, B, C. You look at A, what is the advantages? You do your table, and yeah, this one is going to make me so much money. This one is going to lose so much money, and then you do this comparison, and then you pick the best. Yeah, it works, but not enough anymore. Not enough anymore. Okay, so I want you to walk away appreciating system thinking. That is important. Your mind should be like, whenever you're solving problem on site, or whether you're in step planning, or whether you are in planning unit, or whether you're doing planning for projects, or coming up with a new scope, or working for JKR or whatever, you need to directly create that thoughts in your head. And then you move on from there. Okay. All right. Is there any other questions that we want to talk about? When we come back, it'll be straight away jumping into this thinking, moving into scope management already. So the foundation is this thing. Okay. Anyone wants to do the QR code? You haven't done the QR code, right? Okay. Done. Okay. I'll be giving you guys, Dr. Lee will be giving you guys an assignment, which is going to be either pair or individual. I'm not so sure yet. I haven't discussed with her yet. We are actually very, very busy now with the undergraduate marking and starting of the masters as well. It's been like such a pack where I completely forgot about Elite busy. So until yesterday, suddenly I said, oh no, I haven't talked about e-leap, so I haven't been able to, post the thing. So you guys haven't been able to join the e-leap, huh? So let me sort it out by next week. And I also forgot that I have to give you the 4 girls the slides for the orientation. Right. So this project environment scan, go and take a good look at it, okay? Yeah, the notes. This is what I've been trying to draw over there, but my drawing skills is not so great in a sense. But you understand now. So this one here, I'm off this thing, and then by next week we should be able to post the recording and also the notes on it. Next weekend you stay at home, do whatever you need to do. Okay, we'll be having classes online. Okay. That's all from me for today. Any questions so far? Wan Bing, are you okay?
Okay.
Dr. Lee will be giving you guys assignment. I'll be giving you guys a group project. So maybe before the end of my 4 weeks, my 3rd week with you, on the 3rd week, I will give you the project already. And the project is going to be by group. Okay? So you guys pick your friends, I'm not forcing anyone to pick with anyone, to stay with anyone. So I think a group of 3 is fine, because there's about 15 of us. Is it 13 or 15 of us? I think from the name list here is 15. Wan Bing, you need to find your friends, whoever is working with him previously. We need to work together to finish up the project. And project will be 30%. Assignment is 20%, and the exam is going to be 50% for this particular course. 50. And exam will be fully physical. Any questions on the course, on whatever we've spoken about? Are you guys lost already? Mazan or Mazhan? Mazan, right? Zan, Z-A-N, okay. I'm trying to always get that name correct. Where are you working, Mazan? Strato. So you have to come here certain weeks lah. So you're going back tonight? After this, driving. How far is it? Which field are you working in? Which field are you working? Are you working for contractor or client or government? Huh? Government. Which agency? Ministry of Agriculture. Are you a civil engineer? You are, right? Oh. What do you do in Ministry of Agriculture? What are the common issues in your projects? I mean, I've never heard about, like really like agriculture project. Is it for oil palm plantation or fruits? Oh, nanas and all that. Durian. Wow. Hey, so when there's a good durian, we can ask him to bring for us. Inform us, we pay you, don't worry. Yeah. Should be coming up in, like, so you actually having a plantation, and then you need to build some facilities within the plantation to process to keep the inventory, to process the irrigations and all that, drainage systems and all that. So that is more on your part of your work lah. Is it successful, the work going on there? Mainly for export or for local? For local. Oh, food security. That's important. Yeah, because you don't want one MCO and then suddenly everybody start to pile on on rice and canned food and all that. Yeah, that is a very big issue on food security. Yeah, especially nowadays. Also in the world, we have a lot of natural disaster, so we really don't know when any natural disaster can happen, and a country needs to be self-sufficient in terms of food. We cannot keep on import food from different places. Yeah. I was in Dubai a few weeks ago, and I can see that a lot of food resources are actually imported. So it's very expensive, very expensive. They are not into agriculture, apparently. Yeah. And that's why the living standard is very high because things are imported. Yeah. Rice are imported, dates are imported. A lot of things are imported, maybe from other parts of Eastern Europe and all that, and maybe from China and different parts of the world. Yeah, we cannot fully keep on depending on not our own plantation. We must be at least be able to meet the minimum in that sense. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. If you have anything you want to share with us on your workplace, everyone is still working. I mean, like some of you are not working. You quitted and then you come here. Grace, are you still working, Grace? How's your ears? Good? Better lah. Taking antibiotics. Are you still taking medication? Okay. Is it because of imbalanced water or is it infections? Allergy. Food. Is it after you take the dosage? Has it been happening to you all this while since you're young, or it just came up when you have the COVID, after COVID? Before COVID already also you have this issue lah. Yeah, my sister-in-law had a very strong allergy, like anything can cause her to go into rashes. It's a very difficult time for her as well. Yeah. That was post-COVID. She got COVID, and then after that, she easily anything. At one stage, she was just hospitalized just because of like allergy. So it is very tiring and it's very scary because you're not sure whether in the middle of the night maybe suddenly you cannot breathe, and then that could be an issue. So be very careful. Yeah. What about the rest of you? Is that Ato, right? You are not. You say you're working part time now, isn't it?
Only
3 days. Where else?
Subcontractor at TT3.
TT3. What's the name?
It's subcontractor, but we mostly do like construction at the kilang, industrial, and then apartment.
So we have Sue. You just graduated last year, right? Are you working? No. So I think you better pair out with people that are working so that you get projects. Haisa, you have to be careful with your RP. You've only got 2 more SEM to go. RP is critical. I don't want you to go through all the subjects, pass everything, and then you don't do your RP. You have to face your RP. I think I can see that RP is like your demon. You don't seem to be able to complete the research project, and you need to face it, because if you can't get over this, you will never get over it. Even if you change course, if you do another master's, there will still be things like RP. So if you cannot resolve RP, this is something that's going to stuck with you for the rest of your life. So I think go and see Dr. Zamri. He is not a very strict, like very, very harsh or strict person. As long as you give him what he wants to see, even though it's not perfect, he will let you through. But you must show him something. if you keep on avoiding your topic, avoiding him, avoiding issues, avoiding RP, you will never make it. You will never make it. Trust me, you need to overcome this. Okay. And RP2 is important. How far are you along now? Have you finished your literature review? But you don't have much time left, you know. Literature review is RP1, you know, and then now it's supposed to be data collection. If you really cannot make it, I suggest you drop it. I suggest you drop it and then and write in and change this to a part-time, because part-time will give you another year or so. But this is only a temporary, like eating Panadol painkiller. It's not going to solve anything. Even if you change it to part-time, you still don't want to do it, nobody can help you. Understand? Because you only have 2 semesters left, and if you don't give him literature review and chapter 1 and 2 that is to his standard, I suggest you drop it. I suggest you drop it, because then you will end up having the same problem again. You know, not being able to complete your RP2 and fail your RP2, and then your thing will drop. Your CGPA will drop even further. So you can think about this very seriously. You may just lose it, because like if it's a full time, these 2 semesters will be your last 2 semesters. Because if you don't graduate by the June session, you'll be automatically gonna auto one. I cannot help you one for sure. Okay. So if you're really not ready, I mean, if you're already done your methodology, you're very sure about the methodology, now you're only left with data collection, then I say go ahead. But if you still haven't finished even the literature review, you may as well consider dropping it. And don't register for RP2. And really take this semester to finish up chapter 1, 2, 3, 4. And then take RP2 next sem. And then when you take RP2 next sem, you convert it to part-time. Convert the study to part-time. That should give you 1 more year. Okay? But check with CGS first. Can you do that? Can you change it to part-time? And then so because part-time allows you to go up to 3 years. Obviously, I never want any one of you to do part-time. Why? People do PhD 3 years, you do master's 3 years. Aren't you wasting your life? True or not? Huh? You're wasting your life. Huh? Masters like this, 1 year plus, must finish already. Huh? Coursework masters, get going, next year graduation already. So I never want to exercise this part-time option. Because to do 1 or 2 subjects per sem is very simple only. Very easy only, true or not? Only first sem is hard because you got RM. After first sem, you ask them, now only 3 subjects done. How or not? Saturday afternoon, Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, finish already. Oh, of course got RP lah, huh? Alright, so boys and girls, huh? Don't think that you can exercise part-time option now. It's really, really terrible if you're, I mean, it's already not good if you're 2 years maximum. There's only 13 subjects. Divide by 6. 1 sem only do 1 or 2 subjects, and you still want to do part-time. Apa lagi part-time do? Oh, true enough. Even part-time, you don't do half subject per sem. So, I mean, from the first sem result, you all did quite well. So I'm not worried too much. Okay, yeah. So I hope that you all can graduate on time. Maximum grace, you plan it that way, it's fine. Yeah. As long as you're comfortable. 1.5 to 2 years is very normal for a master's, okay? Very normal. But not 3 or 4 years. People 3 or 4 years do PhD. not muscles. Right, and I know I need you to confirm often. Don't say still comforting. You don't have that much time. Okay? So you four okay, huh? All your supervisor agree already. Dr. Azida, you got quite strict, but then you go with them and also strict.
I already know what's there, so
Sue, right? Sue running it's not a she's not very fair for you. She's not very she doesn't if she doesn't give you yeah, you're okay, right? I'm sure you're doing well. You're a good student. Her result is very good. I think she's the exam machine. She knows how to do exam. Okay. The other person I'm worried about is Wan Bing, because he's too far away. I don't know what's happening. Okay. Wan Bing, I've already given you Dr. Ahmad Kwek. He is really, really like an angel. Okay, so if you cannot do it with him, I don't know who else you can do it with. He's really a very nice person. Yeah, very helpful with students and really very concerned, and he will help you all the way. So, and he speaks Chinese. That's why I asked him to go for. Natasha, you're doing RP, you did RP 1 now, so you're RP 2 now. Are you doing that data collection already?
I think
Okay.
I mean that they're done to process everything.
Okay. Because they are only in F1 1.
Yeah, so basically I think next after their exam they have to collect the sample.
Who are you with?
Dr. Azhar.
Oh, Azhar.
Yeah.
Just know that you have a deadline, and you and them, the timeline is pretty different. I have to remind Dr. Azhar. Sometimes I think because some of us are overloaded, undergraduates, postgraduates. Sometimes we also get confused. See? So remind her that you need your data. She needs to push them to give you the data before week 5, week 6. Don't because they are very lenient because they are having exam now. They finish exam next week, so they must start the data collection ASAP. Otherwise, they cannot give it to you on time. Then you have no data. If you have no data, what is your plan?
Actually my software, right, I have to draft data from that software, but then the number of data I have to take from the lab has to be the same for the software that I generated. So I actually already will be discussing the data that I received from the software with Dr. Azhar how it applies with the lab result.
Okay. So the lab result is the one that they will be taking now. So is she going to get them to do it during the holidays?
Yeah, basically that's it.
Okay, so we need to remind her that you only have 12 weeks and you finish a lot earlier than them. Because by the time they start the semester, it'll be March. And that will be week 5 for you. There's a difference in timeline. Not the same, like what she may be thinking like, oh, undergraduate, at the same time, but actually it's not. The trimester is a lot faster. So you'll be finishing, like by the time they start Sem 2, it's March already. And March already to you is in 5 weeks. All right, so you can go if you want. And anybody have any issues that you want to speak to me privately? I'm still here for a while. Okay? You have any problem? Okay, see you one day. Bye bye. Are you still around?
Doctor. Yeah.
Okay, we're done now, Wan Bing.
Yeah,
Wan Bing, how are you with Dr. Ahmad? Everything okay?